Hello, I am Reverend Irene Smith, and I'd like to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. Here at the table, we come and we discuss life issues, no matter what they might be. As we sit at the table with each generation, we all learn, we all grow, we all are inspired. Generationally Speaking. Hello, I am Reverend Irene Smith, and I want to welcome you to Generationally Speaking. I know you're asking yourself, where is she today? Well, let me tell you, it is the beginning of the year 2024 when we are all making resolutions about what we want to do, what we want to change, how we want to improve ourselves. So today I'm bringing you to a gym in Williamsburg, Virginia, and it is the Results Performance Training. And I want to take the time right now to introduce you to the proprietor of this wonderful gym, and his name is Detric Smith. Hi, Detric.
Hello, how's it going? I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, we are excited about being here at the Results Performance Training. Before we get into all these New Year resolutions that we all make about, we want to lose weight, we want to do this, we want to do that, I want to first introduce you to Detric and allow you to get to know him in a more personable way. And then perhaps at the end of our talk together, you'll make a decision as to whether or not you want to join a gym this year and what kind of gym you want to join, because as we take you around, you'll see that all gyms are not the same. And so, Detric, tell us a little bit about your formative years, where you grew up, your family life, your tribe.
Okay. So I've been in Virginia pretty much my entire life. I was born in New Jersey, but I was only there for a short period. Grew up in Virginia Beach, about 45 minutes to an hour away from here. Have an amazing family with my parents, my sisters, nieces, and everything there, and an amazing aunt too. Amazing aunt here who's coming down with us. But so I grew up in Virginia Beach. I guess a little bit as far as, my background. I've always tell the story how I kind of got into fitness. I've always been, if my dad will take a million pictures, you might know that. So he has pictures of me at 5-year-olds doing jump rope and everything else. But I remember I was trying out for a baseball team. I got cut. They told me I was too weak. And I kind of had this obsession over, okay, let me see, what do I have to do to get stronger, to get in shape? And I ended up doing that, and I ended up enjoying that more than actually playing the sport.
Wow.
So I kind of got hooked on that, just learning the body and learning how to work with other people. And so that was kind of my intro there to fitness.
So let's talk a little bit about, growing up in Virginia Beach, for those of us who are landlocked. What did it mean for you to be at the beach? Did you go to the beach every day, or is
the funny thing about that is when you grow up there, you go there sometimes, but it's not as big of a deal to us. You hear people say beach week and everything. What is beach week? Beach week, we have access to it, so it wasn't that big of a deal, I'd say. The funny thing is I probably just started going to the beach more over the past 3 or 4 years, probably more in the past 3 or 4 years than I did in the first 37 years of my life. So,
growing up, and you talk about the baseball experience, those elementary and high school years. Were you into physical fitness? Were you, because as Detric said, he's my nephew, and so I know for a certainty when we all got together, there was plenty of macaroni and cheese and corn pudding and all of those things always available, potato salad. So, growing up in that environment, as so many of us do, how did you decide that you wanted to start to take care of your body in a different kind of way?
Yeah, I was, my parents did a good job of making sure we had healthy stuff. We also had some things around that were a little tempting. I kind of told you the story about how I kind of got into the exercise aspect of things. In regards to when I got cut, I got kind of obsessed over that. And then I started realizing that, it's not just the exercise, it's the nutrition, the overall healthy lifestyle that you have to have in place in order to live long and to live a great life. So, I've kind of always been into that. And then once I went to, so in order to become a trainer, there's different routes to kind of go to become a trainer. So that's the certification. And then I went to VCU, graduated there in 2003, exercise science, kinesiology at VCU.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, that discipline. What did it do for you and for those that you met in that environment that keeps you focused in on that? And then what were your thoughts at that point about profession?
So as far as like the discipline and how it carries over, you'd say? Yeah, so the discipline that you learn from following a healthy lifestyle, exercising, eating the right way, it carries over to everything you do in your life. So people will notice when they take advantage of whether a trainer or whether they take advantage of the information in order to get themselves in shape, eat better, exercise more. It's going to carry over to everything that they do, to their profession, to their family, to everything there. So kind of building that foundation.
So that was the 4-year degree program that you completed?
Yes.
And then after the completion of that 4-year program, what do you do?
Yeah, so as far as once I graduated, there were like internships that I had while I was in school. I also did some internships after that that were unpaid in order to get the experience. So when I first got out, the training industry is not like a lot of industries where it's just you have your 4 years, you get out, you have your job, and it's 40 hours a week, and you're making this amount of money. It's a grind, it's a hustle. So you get out. I had an internship that was unpaid. I worked at a small studio in Richmond. I worked at a big gym in Richmond too. I did all this at the same time. I was hustling and grinding there. Then I had a chance to build the network up, get experience. Then I was able to get my first full-time job in training at a sports performance center in Richmond there. And so that's kind of how I kind of went about it there.
Yeah, I like the fact you talked about internship and unpaid. That's almost a curse word.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people think when I take an intern, I'm going to be paid, but you talk about the experience. So what was that experience like for you in that unpaid intern position?
Yeah, so I mean, I had quite a few, and VCU still requires to this day that you have a decent amount of unpaid internship hours, but it was an internship after I'd already graduated at VCU with a strength conditioning coach there, and it was a great experience. It had a chance to build my network up, and so that it helped me land the next job, which helps you land the next job. But you have to kind of be in a situation where you can learn, you can absorb all the information there from someone who's been doing it for a while, and that's going to help you out so much.
Wow. So after you graduated, did you go into any full-time position as your journey, making this journey? Yep.
So we talked about how the training industry is a grind there. A lot of trainers expect they just get out, they get their degree, and they get their certification, and boom, they're in it. It never works out that way. So as far as my path, my journey, I talked about how I went and got my first full-time training job at a sports performance center. Then I kind of went through these periods like, okay, I'm not making enough money just doing this there. So I ended up teaching. So I taught in Surrey, here in Virginia. That's taught middle school, while I was coaching at the high school level, football, track, and also doing training. So I'm doing all these things at the same time, but that teaching job allowed me to, it allowed me to have a steady income while I was pursuing everything here. Then I ended up, what brought me to Williamsburg, I taught at the elementary school here at Williamsburg, physical education at both of those locations, at middle school and the elementary, and I was still doing the coaching and training and around that until I had a chance to kind of build up, so I could only do this.
So we always talk about preparation, and that as we are journeying through life without knowing, we're being prepared for the next step. So when you think back now of working with those elementary age students, what did they teach you as you begin to work with adults?
Oh, they taught me a lot. They taught me a lot. I'll never forget my first kindergarten class I had to teach. I wanted to go into my ladder planning period, a little break afterwards, and I wanted to go in my office and cry for a second because I was not prepared. But God was putting me through some lessons. I didn't know what was going on at the time, but yeah, I didn't know what was going on at the time, but it prepared me. I'll say that. Because when I talked about teaching middle school was a challenge, but looking back on it, those are the things that helped me build the foundation for my business, as far as being a teacher, being a coach, educator there.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about consistency and perseverance, and as you were teaching those young children, how did you get them interested in exercise? Because young people, young children, first, second grade, they're all over the place. Johnny, get back in line. Come on, do the. I don't feel like it today. So how did you get them, excited about the class?
Yeah. Well, I would say I taught middle school and elementary school. Now, elementary school, they were pretty excited, but you had to get them real back in, keep them focused. So that was the benefit of teaching elementary school, I would say. So elementary school, they were excited, but keeping them focused. Middle school, at that time, they weren't excited. They were either really excited or not excited at all. There really wasn't a lot of in between. So just as far as the discipline and also finding things that they can connect with, and I think we've done a good job over the years of bringing in different things that they enjoy and different things that they can do from a physical education standpoint. It's not just playing sports or being good at sports.
Right. I think that's important because a lot of kids, like you were told, you're weak. That does something to the psyche of a child because everybody wants to be accepted. Nobody wants to be the last person selected for a team.
Yes, yeah.
So these middle-aged students, and also it's a time where they're experiencing some freedom, and so starting to talk about eating the right things. How did you help them with that, with those decisions of what, come on and try this exercise. Come on and think a little bit more about. Maybe thinking more about, maybe I don't need McDonald's every day. Did you have those types of conversations?
Yes, yep. So we had to educate them on, as far as the right foods to eat. Everyone's coming from different backgrounds too. So some of them are coming from areas where it's lots of fast food and it's not healthy meals. So, you're trying to, the main thing is the education portion. And also exposing them to different things and kind of gradually exposing them to different things, not feeling like it's something that's forced upon them, but that helping them make decisions there that'll last a lifetime.
In thinking about that, I think right now I will pause just for a moment to park right here to ask you, as a parent of an elementary school age student, as a parent of a middle school student or a senior high school student, what can I do in the home to help my child develop healthier eating habits?
The most important thing you can do is you want to lead by example. So you need to lead by example there because they're going to do what they see you doing. So I was blessed to have parents that that were able to do that stay active all the time, that were able to cook healthy meals. So lead by example. Be a part of that education process. There, working with professionals, if that's needed, it's always going to help with that. So I think those are the main things there, and just having those healthy options around, and with your kids might not always listen to you, but not feeling like you're forcing it on them, but exposing them to it, and just leading by example is going to be the main thing, though.
Yeah, so, people often say, Reverend Smith, my income is limited and healthy food costs a lot. But I would say unhealthy food is going to cost even more in the long run.
Yes, yes.
So learning how perhaps to buy that bag of carrots, to, teach a child how to make that a nice snack, or having that raw broccoli on hand, and really showing and eating the red peppers, really tasting them for the first time, because oftentimes we kids look at things and go, yuck, it's yucky, but making it a part of making it healthy, but making it also exciting to eat. Like, okay, you know, we're going to eat this. Back in the day, y'all don't know anything about this, but back in the day, we had Popeye. And Popeye was the sailor man, and Popeye always ate his spinach.
Yep.
And so we learned every kid was going to eat some spinach because we wanted muscles like like Popeye. But it's those kinds of things that parents can do to help their child to develop a good eating habit. So once you've now in middle school and elementary, and you're working. What happens to make you say, I think I'm ready for a shift?
You said, are you talking about from middle school, high school, a shift to a healthy lifestyle?
A shift in profession, from going from.
Are you talking about me personally?
Yes,
Okay, I didn't know if you were talking about as far as.
Yeah.
As far as making that decision to major in exercise science kinesiology is where you're kind of going at there. I mean, it was just, for me, it was a kind of a natural thing because this is what I was passionate about there. It might not be sometimes people want to hear parents and everything want to hear, like, are you sure you're going to make enough money doing that? And for good reason. You didn't make enough money doing that at first, like I just said there. And this is, 2 decades ago too, so the industry has changed. But for me, I was just always so passionate about it. That's what I wanted to study. I can't say I was passionate about a lot of other things. I was probably like, my story is in high school, I was a pretty average student. I wasn't an A+ student. I wasn't a bad student per se at all. But I was an average student in high school. I got to college. I graduated in 3 years. I was locked in. This is what I knew I wanted to do. This is what I was passionate about. And I just wanted to study it all the time. So this is just kind of, God's plan, I guess. But
yes.
This is,
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes. So then how did you then decide, I think I want to open a gym? That's a big step.
Yeah.
It's a scary step. And, what was your thinking as you made that journey into entrepreneurship?
Okay, so me opening a gym, we've talked about the background a little bit already. So in talking to someone who's maybe thinking about opening a gym there, I want them to see the decade before I opened the gym.
Okay.
So the decade before I opened the gym, I kind of talked about it already. The certifications, the degree, graduated, still a grind, internship, unpaid, part-time jobs, combining them together, full-time jobs, having to somewhat leave the industry, so to speak, but I was still in doing something in teaching and coaching. That is what I'm doing right now there. So that was the goal all along, was to own a gym, and a lot of people will say that, but God's going to take you through so many different things to get to that point. So I go back to that decade there. And, it was in his plan, it was in my plan, but for a while it was like, is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen? So I was teaching at the elementary school. It's like 5 minutes away from here. And I came here, and at first I thought I was just going to work for some other place, work for other people there for a while. And then I thought about it. I was like, nah, I want to at least kind of do my own thing. I didn't maybe see it as as big as it is now there, but it was still, I'm just going to train some people before and after school. I remember one of the teachers asked me to train. They heard I was a personal trainer, so they asked me to train an after-school club. And when you're a first-year teacher, you're kind of told to do that. You're kind of voluntold, I guess you want to say. So I was like, yeah, I guess I want to do that. So, I was interested in it, but at the time I was still, I thought I was going to coach, because I mentioned I was coaching football and strength conditioning, and the way it worked out, how school got out a little too late at the elementary school, I wasn't able to do that. So I was like, okay, well, I can do these things now as far as working with the teachers there. And it just kept one little thing. It kept, it kind of got me to the point. So I taught them there, and they said, oh, okay, I really like this. Are you able to do this outside of the school? So I went and I rented space out of a dance studio. I rented space. I was doing that before school. I rented space at a rec center. I was doing that after school. And it was just one thing after, and then it was like, okay, now I'm just going to get a location. And so I got a location, then eventually I was able to add on to that location. Eventually I was able to move to another location that was a little bit better for us. So it's been a gradual process. The decade before it actually happened, everything was happening, as God's plan.
Yeah. You talk a lot about certifications. And when I think about when we come to the gym to work out, as a person coming in the door, we don't give a lot of thought about how we can hurt ourselves. We don't give a lot of thought about our limitations and where we are right now. And so you talk about these certifications, it's almost like you become a doctor because you have to know a lot about the body and its makeup. So when a person comes in the door and, I just want to lose weight, what do you say to them? Where do you start them?
I mean, we want to look at the big picture there. It's the New Year's here, and a lot of people, come in and they want to lose weight, but we want to focus on doing it the right way, building habits. And when they lose the weight and keeping it off, I might be talking all over the place because I hear the certification point too. I might want to touch on that a little bit.
Yes.
So, with the certifications too, if you're looking for a personal trainer, you want to make sure you do your research because our industry is, it could be all over the place there in regards to there's quite a few different certifications that people can choose, and some are much better than others as far as like overnight certification. There's some trainers that are, that have college degrees in this too. So if it's something where I think you kind of mentioned injuries and or people that are getting into the swing of things after being after not doing anything for a long time or ever, you want to make sure you choose a professional that has the background, the certifications, the degrees, and you kind of get what you pay for and get what you, you have to make sure you do your research, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's important because a lot of times we skip over when a person says, I have these certifications, and we don't think about what it means, but it means a lot to us because it's like insurance for us to make sure that they can develop a program that we won't hurt ourselves. And so you started the business, you're doing it before, after. When do you breathe?
That's a good question.
You're working 24/7.
That's kind of a part of the grind, especially at first. I mean, I'm blessed to have a good team that can help me out a lot between admin, marketing, trainers, and different things now. But at first you're doing everything. You're doing it all, and you're still, no matter how long you're in business, it's still going to be a grind. I want people to kind of understand that too, if that's something they're thinking about doing.
Yeah. So when I come to the gym, and you're taking a person around, you've already, I'm making the assumption, and maybe I'm wrong, have you already worked on all of these machines or all of this equipment so that you're not just, it's just not book knowledge, but it's actual knowledge that you gain from, what this will do?
You're saying from my standpoint of being able to practice
Yes.
what you preach. And I mean, we're going to practice what we preach. We're able to do the things that we're asking our clients, to do. If I think I'm going the right direction there with the question. Yeah, so, and that's, we're trained on that in school and in our certifications there. So that's important that it's not just something we're kind of throwing at you that we can't do.
So in this, we went through COVID. And everything was virtual for a moment.
Yeah.
How did you all fare?
Yeah, it was a tough time, but we're truly blessed because we were established at that point when COVID came through, and so we had to go to virtual. When we shut down, we had to go to virtual. So we had our virtual groups. It helped us adapt. We still do some virtual stuff to this day, not as much as we did back then, but we still do it. And like a lot of places, we had to adjust our staff. I had to do more hours for certain things or go back to doing certain tasks that I wasn't doing as much of, I guess you could say, since we had less staff and we had to close down. So, I mean, we were truly blessed. But, we learned a lot from those, from COVID too.
So as an entrepreneur and having a gym and you have trainers that come in, from a consumer perspective, if I come into your gym, how am I assured that the person that I'm working with is certified? The person I'm working with is knowledge based, and that you know, they don't really have a criminal record.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So well, first, not gonna have a criminal record, so we make sure we're taking care of that. So we make sure our trainers are certified. We take them through the process of getting trained also there. And the way we kind of work with things like, you and I saw me doing a consultation when you walked in. So step one is there's a consultation period where I'm just meeting with the individual. Usually like 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so usually. I'm meeting with the individual. I'm getting a chance to know what their exercise history is, if they have any injuries, getting a chance to understand their schedule, their budget, everything about that individual. And then I'm able to match them up with one of our trainers. Now, usually as a staff, we're working on that program design together, so I'm involved in all that program design, especially initially, since I had a chance to meet with them, and we're working with them as a team. We do one-on-one training, we do semi-private training. Semi-private training is groups of 2 to 5 people, and then our group training, usually on average around 6 to 12, maybe a few more, maybe a few less, depending on the time of the year for our group training. So those are kind of the services that we have, and we're going to hold our members, you know, accountable. So it's not like a big box gym.
Yeah.
Sometimes where, you know, people might come in, well, I can go get this for $10 at a Planet Fitness or wherever it is. Like, no, you're not going to get that. So the level of accountability, the experts that you're going to have here when you walk into our gym, you know, there's different types of places that you can go into.
You know, I like the fact you brought up the point that all gyms are not created equally. And so you have to be mindful of what you need. Because perhaps the big gym might fit someone who's already regimented and sort of knows what they want to do, and they can go in and do it. While someone like myself, I need somebody to hold my hand, to hold me accountable. So when I come into this gym, where I don't see a lot of those elliptical kinds of machines, when I come in here, what am I going to get?